Hey, so Mark, it's the time of the year. It's almost Christmas and it's end of the year, and 2019 is just about a couple of days away. Hey, a lot of people are talking about what's going to happen in 2019, predictions, corporate governance space, corporate integrity. I mean, this whole space, right? Some of your predictions on what you think is going to happen in 2019, or some of the big, I don't know,
big happenings
that you think is going to kind of change ourselves or change our country in this year?
Okay. Well, I think obviously there's a real concerted effort to bring all the people who were involved in all the wrong things under the previous administration.
Right. So the 1MDB, Tabung Haji, and all this.
All these things are coming
stuff.
out. Yeah. Okay. So at last we're seeing the people who were actually responsible for that being dealt with. Okay. So I think we'll see that progress through.
Still
the
very
year.
slowly though. Huh? It's happening very
It
slowly.
is slow.
Okay.
But I think when it happens, it will happen very dramatically.
Okay.
And I think that will really shake people up. And they'll realize that the practices that they've been condoning or even been a part of for a long time really have to stop.
And it's unacceptable, pretty much.
And it'll be right to the top. It doesn't matter how high you are, then watch out. So I think that understanding that you'll be accountable for your actions is one of the big changes. There's a change in the law, which I've mentioned before, this corporate liability. So that also means that company directors and top management will be made responsible for what their company is doing. Right. Now, enforcement will be in June 2020, but I think a lot of companies will actually be thinking about how do we get this in place, because they don't want to get caught out after.
Because there's significant liability to directors.
They can go to jail for up to 20 years. So it's potentially quite serious for them. But I think also the value of integrity will also come up. So anti-corruption is a negative, but the other question is, who do we trust? Which companies can we see and look up to as being the ones who do the right thing? And how can we move from the previous era to a new era where we actually have full confidence in our business community? So I think what we'll also see is companies promoting that value internally. So this is what we want you to do. Get it right, make sure our customers are well taken care of, deliver on our promises. And then move away from this idea that we can just do what we want to make money.
Will we see companies, like certain companies, fold up? I mean, partly because of all the investigation. I mean, and also because of the consumer itself will start to be a little bit more wiser in terms of discerning what's, which company has integrity and which doesn't. I
think that's the case, but your investors will be key in all this.
Okay.
So what we're seeing is as these companies' issues emerge, Tabung Haji is a classic example, suddenly all that misconduct is out there for everyone to see, and there'll be a lot of casualties around that. But I think we'll see other, particularly GLCs, go the same way, that things which have been hidden even for years will come out. There may well be quite a lot of changes in the top. So quite a lot of new thinking, new management coming in. That will take time, but I think it'll start in 2019. Okay. So what we hope is that the kind of the sea change that GE14 initiated will really start to push not just at the very top level, which is what we're seeing at the moment, but it'll come down to the kind of the top level of the corporates, especially those with government links. So Mark, 2019 is going to be a pretty exciting time, I think. I mean, lots of changes, I think, bit growing pains maybe, in terms of clean-up pain maybe, the pain of that transition and so on. But what do you think? I mean, it's going to be a good year, 2019? I think it's looking very promising. I think there are a lot of very important developments that we're going to see, where a lot of the concepts that have been talked about, especially during the time of the election, will now begin to really bed down into the country. And I think one big change we'll see is the MACC, going back to my area, the MACC is very keen on enforcement. So they're going to be really scrutinizing the operations of not just the political side, but also the business side. So I think we can see more convictions, more people who thought they were okay, actually finding out that they're not okay, and that having quite a knock-on effect. But all this is cleaning out all the stuff that's been...
Lots of cleanup, right?
Lots of cleaning up, but it needs to be done. And I think without that cleaning up, the country won't be ready to go on to its next stage of development.
But it's going to be a painful process, but I think a much necessary process, right? Because once we've had that cleanup done, we can start looking forward to growth and all the other stuff, and in a much better environment, I guess.
That's right. And getting these, if you like, these kind of structural things right. If you're looking to grow a company, you've got to fix the structures before you can really scale up. And I think Malaysia's doing that right now. Let's do this well, move on to a new era where Malaysia can take its rightful place moving up the scale. And that's going to be good for the country.
Very good. So Christmas Christmas bells.
Santa's on his way.
Just wanted to wish you a blessed Christmas.
Blessed Christmas.
And a Happy New Year to everyone.
Absolutely.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
May 2019 be a amazing
best year yet.
Best year yet. The best is yet to come, right? Absolutely. All right, Mark.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right.